Rodent control. Damage caused by rodents to roofing, walls, insulation, cables, electrical systems, foundations and doors of homes, and food processing and storage facilities not only weakens structures and reduces security, but also increases the likelihood of further infestation by both rodents and other pests. Rodent-borne diseases are spread directly to humans through bite wounds, consuming of food or water that is contaminated with rodent feces, coming in contact with surface water contaminated with urine, or through breathing in germs that may be present in rodent urine or droppings that have been stirred into the air, a process known as aerosolization. Inspection. Begin with a thorough inspection of the premises, relying on the following signs as indicators of rodent activity. Droppings are the most common indicators of rodent presence and provide valuable clues where to place control devices. Fresh droppings are usually soft, shiny, and dark, but become hard in a matter of hours. All droppings are dull and often covered with dust. Runways and rub marks. Outdoors, runways can be found next to walls, along fences, and under vegetation. Active runways are smooth, well-packed, and free of vegetation. Indoors, runways may be found along walls, edges, and between stored items. As a rat moves along walls and through tight spaces, its body hairs often leave a dark, greasy deposit on the surfaces. These rub marks may be seen along floor-wall junctions or beneath beams and rafters. Burrows. Norwegian rats prefer to nest in burrows. The roof rat and house mouse burrow occasionally. Rat burrows are usually under concrete slabs, along foundations, or beneath shrubbery and debris. Active burrows are smooth and compacted at the entrance and free of dust. Burrows usually consist of a main entrance and 2 or more bolt holes. Tracks. Rodent footprints or tail marks can sometimes be found on dusty surfaces or in mud. Gnaw marks. Mice and rats gnaw on all types of objects. Mice often gnaw relatively small, clean-cut holes, about 2.5 cm in diameter in boxes, bags, door sweeps, etc. Gnaw holes from rats are larger, about 5 cm in diameter, and often contain rough, torn edges. Rats often gnaw on the bottom of wood doors, joists, and other structural members. Non-chemical control. Sanitation. Rodents must have food and shelter to survive. Limit availability of these essential resources to reduce rodent problems. Rats require considerably more food, water, and shelter than mice. Garbage should be kept in rodent-proof containers and picked up regularly. The same is true for pet food and bird seed. Weeds and unnecessary vegetation should be removed, especially when they are adjacent to building foundations. Plant seeds are a favorite food of mice, and weeds also serve as rodent harborage. Rubbish, lumber, rock piles, old equipment, damaged containers, packing cases, waste paper, and floor sweeping should be removed completely, and their accumulation should be prevented. Standing water should be eliminated. Where practical, boxes, crates, and other items should be stored at least 45 centimeters off the ground and 30 centimeters away from walls. Rodent proofing. Along with proper sanitation, the best way to avoid rodent problems in buildings is to prevent their entry. Apply the following rodent proofing techniques. Seal cracks and openings around windows and vents in building foundations, and where plumbing, electrical, and air conditioning lines enter the structure with permanent sealants such as cement, sheet metal, and hardware cloth. Cover openings with gauge wire netting or expanded metal. Fix kick plates to the outer face of wooden doors. Paint with gloss paint any rough-walled building or barrier to make surfaces too smooth for rodents to climb. Traps and glue boards. If signs indicate that you do not have a large rodent population, traps are generally preferred over pesticides because they are less hazardous to use around children and pets. Snap traps are widely available and easy to use. Trapping efficiency can be enhanced by baiting the trigger with such foods as peanut butter, bacon, raisins, or fruit. Snap traps with an expanded trigger catch more mice than conventional designs. Snap trap should be orientated mounted perpendicular to the wall, with the trigger end against the vertical surface. Another effective trap against mice is the automatic multiple catch trap. Mice enter these traps out of curiosity for new objects placed in their territory. Multiple catch trap can capture and hold several mice before needing to be emptied. Multiple catch traps can be oriented with the entrance hole either perpendicular or parallel to the wall. Glue boards. Along with traps, glue boards are a method of control in homes and other sensitive locations where pesticides are a concern. Should the glue from a glue board contact the fur of a pet or skin of a child, it can be removed with mineral or vegetable oil. Please note, all other options for rodent control must be considered before glue boards are used. Detailed records must show why other methods are either considered inappropriate or have failed. Where there is a rodent in a high-risk environment, it may be appropriate for glue boards to be placed strategically to ensure immediate control. Placement. Regardless of which type of trap or glue board is used, placement should be installed up against walls, behind objects and appliances, and in secluded areas where droppings, damage, and other signs of rodents are evident. Rodent control devices should also be installed in areas where there is potential for rat or mouse entry, e.g. on both sides of the exterior doors and near utility openings in walls. Rodents have limited foraging ranges, therefore it is important to use several trap placements. For mice, traps and glue boards should be spaced no more than 3 meters apart in areas where mouse activity is apparent, closer if the infestation is severe. Rat traps can be spaced 4.5 to 6 meters apart. Traps and glue boards should be checked daily and dead rodents disposed of in plastic bags. Gloves should be worn when handling rodent carcasses to prevent any chance of disease spread. Records should be kept indicating where each control device was installed and which placements caught rodents. Chemical control. Specific pesticides known as rodenticides are available for rodent control. The 3 main types are poison baits, tracking powders, and fumigants. Poison baits. Most rodenticides are formulated as food-based baits containing seeds or grain to attract rodents. Many types of baits have anticoagulants as their active ingredients. These toxicants kill by interfering with normal clotting of the rodent's blood, causing the rodent to die from internal bleeding. The older anticoagulants containing warfarin, chlorphacionone, or diphacionone as active ingredients require several feedings by the rodent and 2 or more weeks for death to occur. Non-anticoagulant rodenticide baits are also available. Most of them kill rodents after a single feeding. Bromethylene kills rodents in 2 to 3 days by causing paralysis of the nervous system. Cholecalciferol causes an excess of calcium in the blood, leading to heart failure in 3 to 4 days. Zinc phosphide kills rodents in 1 to 24 hours by forming phosphine gas in the circulatory system. Bait boxes. Other than when placing baits directly into a rodent burrow, bait should be confined in an enclosed bait box. If rodent baits cannot be installed in locations inaccessible to children and non-target animals, it must be placed in tamper-resistant bait boxes. As with traps, proper bait placement is critical. Place bait in all areas suspected of harboring rodents, along routes of travel, and where they are likely to enter the building. Several placements will produce better results than just a few. Baits that are not being fed upon may need to be repositioned. Rodent bait should be replaced at least monthly because rats and mice are not attracted to old moldy bait. Tracking powder. Some rodenticides are formulated as toxic dusts, known as tracking powders. Tracking powders may contain anticoagulants like chlorphacionone, diphacinone, or non-anticoagulants like zinc phosphide as active ingredients. Small amounts of tracking powder are placed in known rodent runways, burrows, wall voids, and other concealed locations, usually via a hand duster. Rodents pick up the toxicant on their fur and feet and ingest it while grooming. Tracking powders should only be placed in inaccessible areas or in the bottom of tamper-resistant bait stations. Fumigants. Certain rodenticides are also formulated as poisonous gases. The most common use use of these products is for burrow gassing. Gassing rodent burrows with a fumigant is a fast, effective way to control burrowing rodents, for example Norwegian rats in the outside locations. The most common fumigant used for burrow gassing is aluminium phosphide, formulated as tablets or pellets. The product is placed in the burrow with a gloved hand, and the gas releases slowly as it reacts with ground moisture in the burrow.